Hello, friends. Welcome to Much Review About Nothing. If horror movies have taught us anything, it's never go on trips or do anything fun. On this podcast, we review a movie we haven't seen through cultural osmosis and what we can find on the internet. I'm your host, Billy Greer.
And we're your co-hosts, Jake Greer and Luke Greer.
Let's don't watch a movie. Such a non-committal laugh.
I couldn't think of anything.
It's fine.
Is there something wrong?
All right, so introspection, inspection.
No, seriously, there's something wrong with me?
Stop ruining the takes.
Yes. On introspection and inspection this time, we have a big announcement. We have launched our Patreon page.
We have now officially become e-beggars.
Yes.
Exactly.
We're shills, officially.
Panhandling on the side of the road known as the internet.
We do have only one tier at this point because we don't want to commit to anything because time is pretty precious for us.
Yeah, right now.
And we have one goal of trying to get $9 to cover hosting.
Yes.
And then we can do this for free, which
Yeah.
is a nice feeling, actually.
Yeah.
One thing to be clear about is that it is a pay up front and then a continuation.
Yes.
So the first time you become a patron, you'll just pay $2, and then the next month you'll pay another $2. So we do have that option enabled.
Yeah, it's monthly. It's not every time we upload or anything like that. Because I think the majority of our content will just be on iTunes. So,
like right now we only have the basic tiers, but if we have more time, we can do special things. You know, move future reviews. We had some ideas to do some older movies and put that on the Patreon for special rewards. But those would be higher tiers, like $5 or so.
Up next, we should do some merch.
yeah, well, I want to do... We have lots of plans. We want to do, like Jake said, the future reviews will eventually become Patreon tiers, maybe, if enough people are interested.
Right now, any suggestions about our Patreon would help. Just give us some feedback, if you will. But yeah, that's pretty much it about that. I think we covered everything. The main point is that if you do put $2 to us, your name will be featured at the end of the podcast, and we'll put you in the MVPs and all that.
Yeah,
and so
we're doing it like the episode after you donate is when you get your name read off and you get a thank you. And where can we find that Patreon?
Well, I've put it in the description of our podcast, first of all, so you can copy and paste that there. It doesn't come up in their search engine, which is troubling. You can also find a direct link on our Podbean account. Just search Much Review About Nothing on Podbean, and you should be able to just click it, and it'll take you right to it.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I guess if that's all we have to say, we'll get into the episode officially here. And today, we are not going to be watching Hellfest.
Yes. I have no opinion on Hellfest because I don't know anything about it.
I was hoping somebody would say something.
I am saying something, and I'm saying I don't know anything about it, so I can't get excited or depressed or angry.
Yeah, I have kind of one main point I kind of want to delve into. I mean, I found some stuff, but like me, what I'm bringing to the table personally, there's one main thing I want to discuss, but I guess, and it basically it's a horror movie. That's all you need to know at this point. I guess we'll watch the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I do have some stuff, but I'd like to get into the movie a little bit and watch the trailer.
Yeah. So.
And I have nothing.
That's every podcast with you.
I bring my rich personality and sense of humor.
All right, let's watch the trailer. How'd she get that situation? She tripped and fell into a guillotine.
Very clumsy.
Happens. Oh, she must be part French. That happens to them. It's genetic. You see a guillotine, they can't help but just fall into it.
Did you say guillotine?
Yes, that's all they pronounce as guillotine. The guillotine.
It's like a disguised guillotine, covered in leaves and stuff. I felt nothing.
Look, you feel nothing
You say
for
that
every
You
episode.
say that
You've got to feel something for these things. It's like, I feel nothing. Give everything a 50% and be done with it. What's wrong with you?
He's lost his will.
No,
to podcast.
Well, I mean, it's just like it's a horror movie.
Yeah, but I like the premise of this movie.
I do too.
Because basically, if you don't know, Hellfest is about these teenagers, of course, a group of teenagers who go to kind of a horror theme park full of horror labyrinths.
Well, I gotta say, I did feel something. I felt severe irritation towards the cast.
You always say that too. No, why severe irritation?
It's just it's the tropes. The teenagers going, yeah, let's go over there, yeah. And it's like this vapid talking and stuff just irritates me.
Yeah, I mean they're ticking the boxes in that regard. As I was saying, Hellfest takes place in a horror theme park, and these kids go there, and they start getting hunted by this masked lunatic who starts killing them. And I like that idea a lot because, when I've gone to horror theme parks and stuff like that on Halloween, I've had that thought, like, if someone started killing people, would I be able to tell? Because, there's so much, like, fake blood around and all that stuff. But I'm kind of divided also because I kind of wish this movie wasn't about just a single killer chasing them. I wish the deal was the whole park was like geared towards killing you, and there was different kind of monsters and lunatics in each area.
I think to your point, what would have made this better is if you can do one killer, but he's constantly switching costumes, so you have no idea where he's going to appear next. Yeah. It could bring some suspense to the audience who don't know where the killer is or who the killer is, and all of a sudden you're just walking along and a clown, is killing you. Or the next time, they usually have like nurses or doctors. The doctor is the one, and they don't know who it is. So part of the mystery is finding out how he's switching costumes so fast. I guess that's one thing you have to do. You could probably make it where he just works there.
Yeah, I guess so.
And there's nothing particularly too horrifying about a man in a hoodie with a burn face. I mean,
yeah, his mask to me, it looks kind of sad. I kind of feel bad for him. I don't know what it is.
It looks stupid, to be honest. It really, our villain really takes away because he just doesn't look that intimidating.
He's not very iconic looking either. Because if you think of all the other horror monsters, if that's what this guy is trying to be, you got Jason, his massive size and hockey mask. You got Freddy Krueger in his striped shirt and his claw hand. You got Mike Myers.
Mike Myers, exactly like the actor.
No, Michael Myers.
But I mean, yeah, they're both named Mike Myers. Everyone gets confused by that.
And he wears a white mask and like a jumpsuit. This guy is.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of hoodie killers. I've noticed it's hoodie mask, and the mask kind of just is a person mask, but it's kind of like worm eaten. Yeah, and I feel sympathetic. He looks like a sad ant or something. I don't know.
Maybe he's a sad killer. He really didn't want to be a killer, but he's got to. It's part of the job.
I think he wants to be a killer. I found an interesting detail I'm going to reveal later.
And I think if you have something called Hellfest, I really think you're asking for trouble there. They've already had a murder.
Yeah,
and
I know.
So a second murder, you can kind of just expect it. So at that point, they should just have a sign "Murderers Welcome."
So is that a con? Because I mean, to be fair, every Halloween themed thing is named something edgy and dark.
I guess that's true.
It just comes to the territory. I guess that's why no one's really freaked out. It's like, well, if you have this really dangerous, open, Halloween park where there's bodies everywhere and fog everywhere, there's no supervision, you're going to expect a few casualties.
Yeah.
But, that's what I was kind of wondering. I mean, logically, so you're in a theme park, someone just died, or people start dying, turn around and leave the theme park. I'm curious, what keeps our heroes, quote unquote, in the park?
Probably never realized it.
Oh,
I think they've just been oblivious to it the entire time. They're just getting into it. You know?
They just keep wandering through, and they keep losing people, and they're like, so they just got lost, or it's a part of the theme park. So you think this entire movie, our main characters never realize they're being
they never realize.
Is that a pro or a con? Because that kind of deflates the tension.
I mean, it doesn't, because they're acting. They're still going along with it. Up until the point of their demise, and then they've realized. And their heads rolling all over the floor from a guillotine, as Luke put it.
Yeah, someone gets put in a guillotine in the trailer. But that is an interesting concept, though. of a horror movie where the people in it are never aware. To me, and I said maybe it affected the tension, but maybe the tension would be worse because we as the audience, we know this is a horror movie. We know what's happening. So the fact that they never know would, I don't know, maybe that'd be too frustrating. We'd
Exactly.
be expecting them.
It puts it into frustration.
It doesn't scare you, it just frustrates you.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's a new type of horror.
Yeah,
it's frustration horror. It's like they could have scenes of a person, they have a sewing needle and a string, and they can't quite get it into it, and they have to escape the trap. That's really frustrating.
Yeah.
So I think if movies did more stuff like that, frustrating horror, it could really take off as a genre.
Yeah, I think, is that a pro or a pro-con? I guess we'll say maybe a pro that it invented a new genre.
Of horror.
Yeah. But also a pro-con because it, it's not for everyone. It can be very excruciating to watch.
Yeah, you kind of twist in your seat and you're like, oh, I wish they would figure it out, or I wish they'd do this.
I wish I was there, that I could do it.
Yeah.
Like when you watch someone play video games terribly and you're like, oh, I could do that,
Yeah, that could be another scene. Like someone's playing a video game horribly. That would set off, as we've seen on YouTube, that would set off like every nerd and gamer in the audience.
I know. It's very interesting to watch to see the Let's Player and his audience scream at each other.
Yeah, although back to my point originally of like the single killer versus the entire park, I kind of like the entire park idea a bit more because you could kind of go into surreal dream logic where like the park becomes more and more a hellish landscape and like you can't escape because you're trapped in kind of this awful dream world.
It's an eldritch horror world.
Yeah, to me that would be scarier. It would be like a bad dream where you end up in this area and you can't leave.
And the main bad guy could be like a kind of an eldritch being that feeds on fear, and the murderer is a manifestation of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that way it can morph between different forms, like Jake said. So there's no costume change. It's just a single violent entity that can shapeshift.
And maybe, he was a real person at one point, and he tortured a bunch of kids, and he died in a fire, and now he invades their dreams.
Oh, wow, that's a clever idea.
I know, I just thought of it.
And he takes orders from his dead mother as well.
Yeah, and he escaped from asylum somewhere along the line, I guess, too. But yeah, I didn't mean like a literal dream. I mean, it's almost like the dream world and reality have combined, and you
like
it's
Celtic,
never
like Celtic mythology.
Yeah, like it's never stated within the text of the film. It's just you realize something's wrong, and the characters never can realize. You never know like how they're going to get out. But I like the idea of having different areas, different stages. You could have the nurse, the doctor area. You could have evil nurse. You could have evil hillbilly. And to me, that would be good for merchandising because you could sell all these characters, and then like in sequels, people like, oh, I wonder what the evil clown's going to do this time.
Yeah.
To me, there's merchandising potential with a bigger cast of murderers and psychos, and that could have little personalities and stuff.
Every podcast we do makes us think that maybe we should stop doing podcasts and open up some sort of like Hollywood consultant service.
Yeah, we really should.
Because that's what I think most of this turns into.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, really, just basic amusement parks could turn into a horror-filled day. I think of this all the time when we go to amusement parks. I mean, you can read stories about people whose leg gets ripped off because they're on a ride, and it's absolutely horrifying. So if you wanted to go low scale, you could have somebody with a camcorder, basically, and you could have one of those stories like, people are riding a roller coaster, all their feet get chopped off, and they're stuck there in the roller coaster. Boom, you got yourself cheap horror that's relatable,
that'd be...
I don't want to go to amusement parks. That'd
be an interesting take, like a found-footage film of a theme park that is, like, going insane. For some reason, like evil spirits have taken over the rides and stuff, and you can't get out, and all the rides are killing people. That's another concept.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. I was thinking more of the realism.
We keep having more ideas.
I'm thinking of like Kittyland killing people.
I mean,
the North Pole. You go down the slide, but the slide
it leads to like
it just drops down to it just smashes you into the crowd.
That or it like leads to like meat thresher all of a sudden or meat grinder.
That could work.
But that would be a lot like scary. It just drops and you just explode like a melon. So pros, this movie, it generates a lot of great ideas.
Yeah, con is that it doesn't take advantage of those ideas.
So we've been in dynamic discussions. Did you want to throw an article or something at us?
Yeah.
We always forget to announce dynamic discussions.
Oh, I know.
Because
This is dynamic discussions, by the way. Just add this to the front.
Yeah, I mean, the articles are less important this time because I didn't have many. I just had one that I thought was notable.
Yeah.
But to me, maybe the movie is fine. I don't know. I haven't seen it, obviously. Excuse me, because we're doing it on the podcast. But to me, it suffers from the same thing. You know, just from looking on the outside, it suffers from the same problem as the original Purge. And I know I harp on the Purge a lot, but to me, I'm really mad at the Purge because to me that's a brilliant concept.
Yeah.
All crime is legal, and they have botched it every single step of the way. In the first one, they botched it by not going far enough. That was just a home invasion movie. They just had a like overcomplicated reason why the home's being invaded.
Right.
This is kind of the same thing where they had the theme park and murders in the theme park, but they didn't go far enough, in my opinion, with it. But you know, maybe it's you know entertaining. But I would have liked to seen more of the park involved in the deaths, not just one guy. Because let's face it, the psycho with a knife chasing teenagers. It's 2019. I hate to throw current year, but can't we freshen up the?
It is massively overdone.
Yeah.
I mean, just anything.
And do we need teenagers? Can we go for an older audience?
Well, I mean,
you kind of need teenagers for the amusement park.
I guess these are young adults, or these are like 20-year-olds playing teenagers.
You
but.
could like have a family, you know, typical family of 4, something like that. You know, younger kids, you know, things like that.
That'd make the horror actually really great. It's like, oh, they're gonna kill the kids off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you could kill the kids off because I hate kids. No.
Yeah, some people will be really happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was hesitant bringing up my next idea, and we can cut this out entirely. So if there's a sudden cut, you know why. But
We need to cut
this might be too real. But in this modern era, why is there not horror villains stalking people with guns? Like with the whole like shooters in the news and shootings, you know, maybe this is too real. I'm very sorry, but I just had this idea and I had to get it out. Why have we not capitalized on the idea of a gunman hunting people? Is it just because it's too easy for him to kill you at that point?
It's really too easy, and it lacks the personal nature of the chase and the kill.
I guess so, yeah.
It's a very animalistic way to kill someone. A gun is the refined way to kill someone.
Civilized.
You kill someone far away, you don't get that gore on you.
Well, I mean, think about officers, you know, firing line and stuff like that. That was the refined way to go, basically, if you're going to be executed by the enemy. Firing line.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I want to go. Firing line.
Yeah, that's how we all want to go.
Exactly.
In a
We want
perfect
to go out
world.
with a smile on our face and a cigar in our mouth.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm getting too real, but I don't know. I feel like that would work at least in a horror movie that's maybe more realistic.
Listen, I can meet you halfway if you want to, Billy. In World War II, they had these special gauntlets that when you punch someone, it would discharge the bullet.
Oh yeah, they're like in Inglourious Bastards.
Yes.
They use that. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
the gun puncher. We have our movie.
Gun punch.
Well, there's also that knife that launches off like a projectile. You could have that. You know, he's chasing after and he just pushes a button, the knife flings off. You know?
Oh, that'd be cool. The bad guy has a knife, and the protagonist like gets like a gun of some sort, and he points it at the bad guy, like, aha, I got the gun. And he hits him right in the neck and kills him.
Well, that brings up a good point. Yeah. Bows and arrows or crossbows could kind of bridge the gap there because
an arbalist, an arquebus.
He wheels in this huge ballista, like setting it up. Huge bolt.
Now, that makes for a good comedy horror movie.
What about a catapult?
A
trebuchet, maybe?
A trebuchet. He has it like get away from the bad guy. Like, oh, we got away. And all of a sudden, this giant rock is hurling over the distance.
See, that's the thing. People, it doesn't have to be a gun, maybe, but they need to get more creative with the weapons that our killers use. And I'm going to put it as a con.
I want a killer who stones people.
There we go.
He just throws stones.
That would actually be horrifying. You think about it, he chased. But it would take too long. He's chasing them for hours, pelting them with stones. It's a 4-hour movie just because that's how long it takes you to kill anyone. But do you think how just...
Please, just stab me at this point.
Well, no, the alternative to that is it's not just one guy. You're being chased by a crowd of people with stones.
What is this? I don't know. It's like ancient Palestine here.
Yeah. These teenagers get stuck in... They get take it back in time to ancient Palestine. They offend some people. They get stoned through the streets, and they're trying to survive.
It's not really a horror movie anymore.
I don't know what it is.
It's an abomination. It should be ignored. We should move on.
Oh, man. I want a stoning horror movie now.
Oh, my
Oh, this is the best idea ever.
That horror villain flies up a helicopter and throws him out of it.
There we go. Okay, but and I had a review here. I guess we'll finally get into an article. I had a review here from RogerEbert.com, and it's just kind of a negative review. And to me, giving these kind of movies, it's almost not worth wasting your breath, because these movies are more just diversions. They're for young people to go and kind of kill a couple of hours with their friends. It's almost not worth getting, worked up
and let's
over.
hope they don't kill their friends, and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but
Yeah, let's hope the teens don't get killed while they're in the theater.
yeah.
Why are we signing this waiver?
Yeah. No, there's another idea. It's where it could be a comedy where no matter where these teens go, there's a themed villain no matter where they go. They go to like the mini golf arena, mini golf court.
The mini golf arena where
What
people
is
come
it?
out.
What do you call them?
It's a
Mini golf
course.
Course. There we go. Course.
I like arena better. I like to think of these people.
Mini golf arena.
They're pitting each other with
They're
golf
playing. No,
clubs.
they're playing mini golf for their lives.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's another movie idea. This is just the movie idea podcast,
Another
ladies and gentlemen.
stupid idea.
I like your idea. They go to the grocery store and
Yeah.
there's an evil teller. No one uses teller. Cashier.
Yeah.
There's an evil
What-
cashier.
How old are you?
We can't talk.
It was just the teller.
There's the teller. They go up and they get themselves an ice cream float.
They take out their billfold.
Yeah, but like Jake was saying, like they go to the grocery store, they get attacked by an evil cashier who has like a cabbage mask on or something, like
That'd be
groceries,
horrifying.
or like a sack of his mask is like a sack of groceries,
And he suffocates
Or
with
like-
his plastic.
or like my idea at the golf arena, the mini golf arena, they get attacked by an evil like corny golfer. It's a horror movie that this group of teens, they can't do anything fun because no matter where they go, there's some horror-themed madman after
And whenever
them. I
they
think it's
go,
another
there's
good
always
idea.
some girl going, he had to sign a waiver.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
signed a
And they
waiver.
always sign it.
Yeah, because that happens in the trailer. They had to sign a waiver. Or there's like some old man who warns them about the guy that, he killed a bunch of people back in the, the summer of
The old man just
89.
gets into his jalopy and just drives behind him constantly.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, it was a young teen, so he kind of got upgraded. The old man who
yeah.
warns you, he's a young hot teen now.
Was that in the trailer?
Yeah, because
Oh, that's
it
true.
was her friend or somebody
Yeah.
there at the park. Maybe they just stand around and say, "Yeah, someone was murdered here."
Oh yeah, well that's not the old. That's a different character. That's the lore nerd. That's like the guy who's in the know.
Yeah, this one didn't have an old man.
Yeah, I guess Tony Todd, the announcer, maybe is similar, but he's not really.
Oh yeah.
It's not close enough. But anyways, so I got derailed. No more movie ideas. And I'm saying that to myself. In the review, I just thought was funny, the way they talk about the slasher. It says, and then a true menace buys a ticket to Hellfest, our lame duck slasher, who fails to be frightening by constantly walking in slow motion and clenching his fist like the Arthur Internet meme. Wearing a mask that was probably once labeled definitely not Leatherface, he is less a disturbing agent of chaos and more a tedious screen presence who toys with the horror park's already hazy idea of personal space. But he does give the movie his personality, which is that of barely menacing and always dragging its heels to get on with the simple pleasures. So I like their description of him. But to be fair, he is a little more interesting than maybe your average slasher, but only because the ending of the movie. And I thought this was really interesting, especially showing up in this kind of movie.
The killer revealed.
It
was Old Man Jenkins.
So on this article, it's not like his identity per se, but just here, I'll read the article.
Spoilers.
On Mashable.com, and this is a spoiler.
Massive
so
spoilers.
if you're afraid of spoilers for Hellfest, then escape
Yeah,
now.
And
If you haven't seen
then
it-
I feel sorry for you.
If you haven't seen it yet at this point, you're probably not very interested in it.
Yeah. All right. So, and the bad guy, his name is the Other, and it says, following a gruesome fight to the finish against two bad A final girls, our hooded killer slips away from the park and into the night, narrowly avoiding capture. So he gets away, which is interesting.
Well, that is interesting.
It's very Cormac McCarthy.
They're just setting up the franchise.
True. Yeah. The Other then enters a cozy suburban home, still donning his off-brand Freddy Krueger look. So we had a comparison to Leatherface, now Freddy Krueger.
You're never going to be able to escape it.
Yeah. Once inside, he opens up a large wardrobe, revealing half a dozen other Halloween masks and knickknacks, presumably keepsakes from past killings. Without showing his face to camera, the other removes his current mask and places a photo strip of 2 of his Hellfest victims into the wardrobe. Moments later, he walked into a quiet living room where a little blonde girl is asleep on the couch. The other's outline ominously hovers in the doorframe, seemingly threatening the sleeping child. His face still does not show. As you watch, you brace yourself for a last horrifying murder when suddenly the girl pops up off the couch and runs towards her presumed attacker. "Daddy, did you bring me something?" she gleefully screams. The anonymous man hands his daughter a toy from the carnival. One he took from a guy he beat to death with a mallet, by the way.
Oh.
Gives her a big hug, and then the credits roll. And I was actually kind of impressed by that, because it adds this little, I don't know, like, tinge of twisted realism to the end of the movie of how... And it's almost weird that that's in this, like, supposedly kind of teen scream, you know, we'll watch a fun horror movie and then forget about it. It seems like oddly, like, almost too real for this kind of movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a great idea on how to end the movie. So we got to give it props for that.
Good
A nice
ending.
family man killer.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we really need is we need more father killers. And what we can have is you get Liam Neeson in the next one, father against father.
Yeah,
Boom.
there we go.
Who's gonna win?
Father. We have another movie idea. It never stops. Yeah.
Because this movie is just so uninteresting. Our minds are trying, you know, to
Well,
find something interesting about it, but it's not there, so we just keep killing
Well,
off
I mean,
the
this
movie.
is an interesting ending.
yeah, it is interesting, and that's why it kind of it's almost there, I would say. If it just had some better quality all around, I feel like it would be a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
It needs a little bit more depth, I would say.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird that this ending would be like the ending to a more serious kind of, you know, interesting look into the darkness of man. Because it's weird we go from basic horror movie outline, teens, they get killed, who cares, we're here for the murder and the mayhem, and then it ends with like 88 millimeter, you know, with Nicolas Cage, where you discover that evil just looks like a regular person, you know. And it's such a weird, heavy message to have at the end of this sort of not lighthearted, but
That's
like this,
lighthearted, you know?
You know what I mean, this kind of disposable sort of horror entertainment.
Yeah, and before we got to this point, I was wondering if our villain was more like kind of a bumbling fool who's killing off people.
Yeah.
You know, he always makes a little bit of a mistake and he trips here. He still gets the job done, but it's really difficult for him. He's not really used to the work yet.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of want that. I want the bumbling
killer. Yeah, and he may be, because this seems to me it's just kind of a hobby for him. Like every Halloween, he goes out, he kills a few people, has some laughs.
Yeah, but he mostly just kind of walks, you know, and stuff like that. It's just it's real chill for him.
He's probably middle aged. His joints are aching
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
Got a little arthritis here in the wrist. You know.
Now, what would be funny is another movie idea of kind of a Pink Panther sort of take on a killer, where he's bumbling, and like, you know, he ends up succeeding, but in the weirdest way possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And he's very likable and relatable, and he just wants to kill a few teens. I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah, who hasn't wanted to kill a few teens?
Yeah, don't go into my my secret wardrobe, by the way, where all my goodies are, my keepsakes. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's basically it for dynamic discussions, unless you had another point you wanted to bring up. That'd be fine.
All right, so I think we'll move on to random reviews.
Yes, sounds good.
And I've got some interesting ones.
And remember, reviews change lives.
They did it too early.
We can do it at the beginning, we can do it at the end. We need 2 this time because I forgot it last time.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so that'll stay.
All right, so first we have Eric. This had a slight promise to be an interesting slasher film, but was too predictable and far-fetched. The killer was stabbed in the stomach and walks away like nothing happened, with no blood traces. Every scene has nobody around, with ample space and time for the killer to strike. These writers today are horrible and lazy. Don't waste your eyeballs on this unless you're easily scared. My teenagers actually fell asleep on this. So I like that in a way. Don't waste your eyeballs on it. Like your eyeballs have a finite amount. You
can only watch X amount of movies to like just dissolve.
Yeah, he doesn't understand how eyeballs work. He thinks that like they're iPhones and they have to be recharged every night, and you can use them. If you use up your eyeballs during the day, you're just blind until you go to sleep. It's really convenient. So I would say that this movie has a problem reaching its core demographic, I would say, because he said teens slept through it.
Yeah.
So, hey, if you're a teen, it'll help you catch some Z's.
Oh,
We're about to sleep.
Well, con, we haven't had one in a while.
Yeah.
Con, it didn't reach its target demographic,
Yes.
so it's a pro con, I would say.
Yeah.
So next we have Javi, who has the opposite. It's a great take on slasher killers. It sucks that the outfit chosen for said killer is a hoodie and a mask.
Yeah.
Could have been more original, but all in all, I enjoyed this movie. Jumped a couple of times. The only real annoying character was the rocker chick. I give it a 7 out of 10.
I love that he mentions, like, I jumped a couple of times. Like, he didn't say because of the movie.
He just
got up and exercised.
He might have been falling asleep. He got up and he jumped a couple of times in the theater.
What are you doing? Get down!
But, I mean, back to the other review, I forgot to mention something like, the killer gets wounded and just shakes it off.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of almost a residual of past horror movies where the killer was almost supernatural.
And it makes way less sense here.
Yeah, because he's a regular guy.
He's just a guy with a...
Maybe he was wearing a stab vest underneath.
I guess. Apparently they don't address it. But, like, he got stabbed in his stomach, and then he just, like, goes home to his daughter, like, hey, honey, I got stabbed tonight.
No blood traces or anything. That's
what I
really
think
weird.
is stab vest.
A lot... Yeah, I wonder why they do that. Like, they, attack their... killer, but it doesn't do anything. I guess just so show the futility of it.
Yeah, or maybe to give us like a twist. We think maybe it's gonna affect the killer, and we're like, okay, they finally, we're relieved now. They finally did some damage. Maybe they'll be safer now. But nope, like you said, the futility. And as I was saying, I just wonder if horror movies nowadays, they are so shackled to the past, like with the whole the killer with a knife and a mask and the whole he can't be hurt, just maybe that's a con. Maybe this movie is shackled too much to the past. Maybe horror as a whole can't break away from kind of the genre conventions.
I really think so. And Edward Bundy from IMDb...
You know what? I want to say something real quick. It's time to let old things die.
Yes. This movie's nothing. It came from nobody. The producers sold it for drinking money. It was nobody.
They probably did.
They did. This movie has no place in the cinematic story.
All right. We have Edward Bundy, who gave it a 1 out of 10. Just Stupid is the title.
I thought you were saying that's his entire review. I was like,
no,
thanks. Yeah.
that's his title. Warning spoilers. Probably the worst film I've seen this year, and that's saying a lot. Some people have seen a couple of slasher films and think they can make one they ourselves. I'm afraid they did not make a film that can resembles the classics of the 80 ties. Maybe that wasn't the idea, but it sure looks like it. I counted one scene worth mentioning. A guy gets his eye messed up. Everything else is just so boring, and the characters are so incredibly bad.
That was a swear word.
You can bleep me. I really regret watching this lame attempt of doing a homage to the golden age of slasher. Does not work.
Okay, so this one, he's saying it doesn't. Well, it's like it's shackled to the past, but doesn't even do that properly.
It's kind of like shackled lazily. A few links are broken,
Bad homage. I'll put that in cons. But yeah, I mean, it is obviously an homage. I guess every horror movie like this is an homage to the past.
The guy who's writing, I had a hard time following it.
Yeah, I know. It's really hard. He misspells a couple of things, even his curse words. Alright, we have Larry CT48. 7 out of 10. Hellfest is a good slasher film. I enjoy the movie. We no longer get slasher film anymore. Not like we used to back in the days. Kind of like we don't see trick-or-treating anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's trick-or-treating. Like, you can do it in special places. Yeah. The hunted houses were creative. Made me want to go to Hellfest. Nothing like the haunted houses or haunted house I'm used to in Halloween Horror Nights. The serial killer was good. I like the way we get to see him arrive to Hellfest. The deaths were okay. I wish they had more gruesome death. Only 2
Gruesome.
were good. The other were cheap and quick. My favorite scene of the movie was, well, the hammer scene, the bathroom scene, and the syringe scene.
Oh man, this guy is like teasing us here.
The movie was very entertaining. Kept my interest until the very end. The ending was a good closure to the film. It was the right ending. B.
B. You give it a B, okay.
Well, it's a B minus, I guess.
So I guess pros, we'd have to say the hammer scene.
The bathroom scene,
And the syringe scene.
which
Now
I like how they didn't use commas there. He just used periods. Each one is their own sentence.
He really wanted to emphasize them.
I like how he says my favorite scene, singular, and goes to the 3 scenes.
He couldn't decide.
Maybe it's
ultimately.
all 3 at the same time. He's got a hammer in a bathroom with a syringe.
No, I'm trying to think about the sequence of events. Like, it's got to involve a toilet somehow. It has to. So, like, he stabbed you with a syringe, puts the guy to sleep, dunks his head in the toilet, and then smashes the whole thing with a hammer? I don't...
Or he walks into the bathroom, he smashes him with a hammer into the stall, and then he stabs him with a syringe.
Or maybe he hits him over the head with the hammer, dazes him, drags him into the bathroom, slams it in, and there's like syringes in there from like a heroin addict.
Yeah.
Or what if he hits him with the bathroom, which knocks him into a hammer.
He drowns him in syringe.
Yeah.
There's so many exciting possibilities.
All right.
I liked his old man talk. Like back in my day, no trick or treating.
Yeah.
I said the slasher film. There was one slasher film.
Yeah, he likes
like
to use singular a lot.
It's like we used to get the slasher film every year, and we enjoyed it.
And then the last one is BoyBandCrazy. I really, 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 really want to see the movie. I would do anything, but I've tried everything and I can't watch it. My parents won't buy it for me. I can't find an app or a website that would work. I feel for this man.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, not to be
I think
stereotypical, I feel like this is a young girl. Boy band crazy? The odds
probably.
are. I mean, there are, guys who like boy bands, but, Occam's razor here. Yeah, I relate with that so badly because, like, when I was a kid, you want to see that R-rated film, you want to play that M-rated game, and it feels like this hidden treasure you just can't get to. And that's hysterical. I just love this person lamenting the fact they can't find it. What about they can't search it up on the internet? Like, you could pirate anything. Surely this would.
Apparently not. He couldn't find out a website that would work. 4 people found this helpful, by the way. Just point that out.
I love the gross misuse of the review system to plead for help.
Look, some people have to get their message out.
Yeah, how they gonna reach the masses?
Let's put her in the MVP.
That's a boy band crazy. We've all been there, boy band.
I haven't. R-rated movie is terrifying when I was young.
Well, a lot of us have. Just stick it through. You're gonna be 18 someday, and then the world's your oyster. It takes me back. All right. Well, is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it for random reviews. Kind of keep it more succinct, and that way we don't have a 2-hour episode.
Yeah. And so, what do we say about reviews, Jake?
Oh, reviews change lives.
Yep. And you can thank Captain Larson for letting us know about that.
Yep.
Okay, let's delve into facts and follies. And recently it seems like facts and follies have been a little light. And, I mean, this one is a little bit too, but I think I've got a few good things. As always, we'll start with the facts. The Killer's Mask was designed by Tony Gardner's Alterian Inc., which also designed the Killer's Mask for Happy Death Day and Scream. So they kind of just specialize in slightly tweaking human faces, because Ghostface Killer is just a white human, kind of a ghost face, a white human face stretched out. Well, Ghostface Killer, but there's a rapper called Ghostface Killer.
Oh,
so I was kind of making a joke. Yeah. And then the Happy Death Day mask is just a baby mask, and this one is just sort of a worm-eaten man's face. So they do one thing, but they do it well. The cast got together a few days before filming and stayed up all night watching horror movies, which, interesting little tidbit there. I
They
guess.
just want to
Fun
watch
times.
horror movies on company time is what they wanted.
I don't think it was company time. I think
before.
it was before filming.
Yeah, I know.
So they were getting in the mood, I guess. Although I guess they weren't worried that would color their performance, or. But then again, it's like it's such a derivative like slasher flick. So
They're
maybe
probably getting inspiration, to be
Yeah.
honest, at this point.
it's like, oh, so when he stabs me, I scream. Okay,
Yeah.
I see how it works. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, we're light on facts there. Not
Or
too many
maybe
interesting
it's-
ones.
Well,
Maybe it's
I actually
rings at wrong.
have a fact.
Oh, do you?
Which is
Okay, good.
interesting. That Hellfest is an actual event for heavy metal bands.
Oh, yeah,
So, is that where he's going to go next? Is
yeah. Oh,
he
that
gonna
would be cool.
Go to heavy metal,
Yeah.
you know, kill Slipknot and Sabaton and all that.
Maybe his
Oh.
daughter is a metalhead and he just goes to get like a
His
t-shirt.
5-year-old daughter's a metalhead.
Yes.
Yeah, Daddy!
Well, knowing the kind of environment she's being raised in, it
That's
wouldn't
true.
surprise me.
That would be a cool idea of like a horror movie at a heavy metal like show or
Where the band is the killers. They
That would be cool,
They
like-
get on stage and they play and they just take out these Gatling guns and just.
Well, I mean, you know, the guitars and axe, you know, there's
Yeah.
some perfect
Yeah.
imagery there.
flamethrowers.
I mean, can you imagine if all 9 members of Slipknot were just rushing at you down a dark corridor? That'd be horrifying.
It would be.
Because they're all rather like chunky dudes too, so it would look like a pig run at like a barn or something.
Picture's scary. There's a lot of horror movies.
Yeah, and I think one of them like he used to work out of a pig mask, anyways.
It's too real for him.
But I'm a very big Slipknot fan, by the way.
I
It
know.
wasn't a slam. So now on to follies. When the other goes into the hell labyrinth, he picks up a real axe. Lately, the girls verify that every device in the labyrinth is fake. It is irresponsible to include a real axe in any Ferris stall. No insurance company would cover such negligence.
What?
I love how
That- it is a bit of an oversight.
Yeah.
Also, the guillotine is fake.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
So it just comes down and like breaks on top of her?
She survives.
That's
I
lame.
don't know if we want to go into to the parents' guide, but
Well, if there's anything interesting, yeah. That's lame. That would be like one of the coolest set pieces. It doesn't even kill her.
yeah,
I don't know if that's like an interesting twist or...
it's probably just a hunk of metal at that point. Like it's just
Well, then
a
it would
hunk-
kill you.
It just depends. Like it really would just snap her neck. but
Yeah,
she
it would, like,
somehow
break her neck.
survive?
It's like paper mache. Gunk, and it breaks.
And he's just like, oh shoot.
Yeah, he didn't see that coming. See, it goes back to the bumbling killer thing.
He's just like he runs away embarrassed.
He kind of stands there like, oh. And he slowly kind of edges away. You know? Then
Yeah,
takes
the
off.
light goes off. He's far away now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was weird. In the trailer, I don't know if it was just the way they cut the trailer, but like the light goes off and he teleports. There's no way he could have moved.
What
in
he
that.
did there was
Yeah.
he knew it was going to go off,
Yeah.
so he just dashed
He
really
sprinted
fast.
in between the light going off. But he would have been still in motion. He sprinted like, I don't know, 100 miles an hour in like 5 feet. And showed no trace of the momentum when he stopped after the light came back on. So this guy is an amazing runner, apparently. Amazing at controlling his body. I don't know. So a couple things here.
His body's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, literally, it'd have to be like a machine to pull that off. I guess a pro here. The killer's very athletic.
Yes.
Very athletic.
He's also, like I said, he might be an embarrassed killer.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't
So
work
I can't
every
tell
time.
if he's a bumbling killer, as a pro or a con.
Well, you don't really see much of that. in
He's the
slasher films.
everyman killer. I would
Everyman
say.
killer. Killer is athletic, but so that's like he's an everyman, but he can run at the speed of light too. So he's a very
Like you
interesting
can't, Billy.
He's humble about it.
everyman. He's an everyman in every way except running super fast.
And stopping really fast as
Yeah.
well. He's got that
He's good at
ability.
stopping.
Yeah, running and stopping.
And another another con. It's all combining. now.
Another folly.
That wasn't folly. It's ironic.
Now it's time for dynamic pro follies. Everything gets combined. Another con would be how negligent Hellfest is, leaving a real axe. I'd say.
Like I said, they're just asking for
They're
for
just
murderers.
axing for murderers.
Exactly.
And then the final folly. At the end of the movie, a television reporter says 4 people have died in the incident at Hellfest. In reality, at least one other person is seen being murdered. So technically 5 died, but only 4. So there's a cover-up here.
There's a cover up.
And so it just hit me here. did Trace die at Hellfest? Trace the Hedgehog?
Oh my goodness.
And they didn't want to mention it? Did Peter Rabbit kill him and he blamed it on the other?
It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, this was obvious.
No, I like to think that the other killed him. Like, he hit him with a bathroom and syringes.
He hit him with a bathroom into a pile of syringes and then it dropped a mallet on him.
Yes. That's how I like to think that he went.
Maybe we figured out how Trace died. Possibly. So I'll put that as maybe a potential pro.
But
found out how Trace died.
this reeks of a government hit.
Yeah.
If you think about it, not reported. I mean, I'm not saying it was a government hit, but
we're also not saying it was the government hit.
exactly. You know.
We're not saying it's a government hit. We're not saying it's a government hit.
I don't know what we're saying anymore. But if Peter Rabbit was involved, they would cover it up because, like, he was affiliated with the government at one point. We think.
Yeah, he probably contracts out a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking we know he has allies. Like Satan Goat is one of his allies.
Right.
Maybe the other. Maybe Lightning-Fast Everyman is his other ally, and he got his help killing some teenagers and Trace.
He can only dart really fast if no one's looking at him.
Yeah, in the dark he can run really fast. Lightning-Fast Everyman.
I think we're slowly assembling a crew.
Yeah, we're building a crew of villains. What are we? Some sort of Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I like that it's mainly animals, but you have one human.
One guy with a daughter.
Yeah.
Who can run fast in the dark.
Would you say the counter crew, the hero crew, is Ferdinand and the Yeti from Smallfoot? What was his name?
Migo?
Yeah, what do you think Ferdinand and Migo are on the side of light, and other Peter Rabbit and Satan Goat are on the side of evil?
Yes, alongside Lightning-Fast Everyman.
Lightning-Fast Everyman. It sounds like a tick arrow.
Yeah, that's true. It does. But I was thinking maybe the teens are just collateral. Maybe the whole goal was to kill Trace, and they just killed the teens.
That's happening in the background.
Yeah, well, they killed the teens to make it look like it was a coincidence that Trace died.
Yeah,
there.
and
but we still don't know why they wanted to kill Trace.
Lightning-Fast Everyman. He just may want to kill some people.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't know that the significance of Trace. He just wanted to hit someone in the bathroom.
Yeah. Or, Peter, subconsciously, drove him to do it. He didn't know what he was doing. It was just, in his brain, Manchurian Candidate kind of deal.
I kind of think of him as more of a wild dog.
Mm.
You
let him loose.
You let him loose, and he'll do some things. But ultimately, it's a great cover-up, or you'll get the job done kind of thing.
Okay. I guess that's it from Facts and Follies.
Very insightful.
That was Facts and Follies?
Yes, it was.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, not too much in poppin' parental guides, which is not.
We did find out that's a con. The guillotine is paper mache.
A young woman is sliced deeply into her neck by a prop guillotine that survives.
What?
Really, paper cut.
Paper cut.
She got paper cut.
Guillotine paper cut.
I hate to see that happen.
That's such a tease. That's like an awesome kill potentially, and it doesn't even kill her.
Yeah.
It's why even have that in the movie?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a twist. Maybe it's you think she's dead, and then she comes back and helps.
Yeah, the guillotine is always an awesome kill. I mean, why do you think the French people did over and over again,
It was fun to watch.
It was.
I like this one. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Characters take shots.
Basketball shots, not...
Yeah, none of that.
yeah, nothing like that.
You get the carnival, you get the basketball.
Some people are just scared of basketball, so
I
that's
think
why they put that in the warning.
This is my favorite one, period. Frightening and intense scene. The overall plot of the movie revolves around haunted houses and a Halloween festival at a theme park. We often experience the jump scares of the event with the characters.
Well, hey, so that's another potential pro. You don't have to go to one of those theme parks. Just put this movie in, and you got the experience.
Just watch up until the murderer starts killing people.
Yeah, and then just turn it off. I guess that's it. I guess we'll, if that's it, we'll try to review this puppy.
Yeah.
You may have adopted the awkward silence, Billy. I was born into it, molded by it.
Yeah, we had a lot more awkward science for the science.
Awkward science.
Awkward science for this one. It's very awkward.
That's when you spill all your beakers into one another.
Oh, wow, this is awkward.
All right. So let's review Hellfest, but first we got to go through our pros and our cons and our pro cons, and as always we will start with our cons. What is that referring? Oh, okay. That's how it
Very
normally starts.
cryptic.
In our cons, I say uses none, which is why I was confused. But then I realized it's a pro con basically.
Yeah, I don't know why you weren't putting them into the pro con
Because
area.
I should have done that, but I did it, and then I was like, well, I've already done it. So
And he wrote in pen.
I write faster than I think sometimes. The movie generates a lot of good ideas. That's a pro. But it uses none of those good ideas that it generated, so that's the con. That's what uses none is referring to. The killer and the weapon are not very creative. Although if they used,
Rocks.
the elements we came up with, like his ability to move super fast in the darkness, he would be interesting.
And
but
the fact that he's an everyman.
yes,
and he hits people with the bathrooms.
but overall his appearance isn't. Yeah, he hit you with a bathroom, an entire bathroom.
Yes.
He pulls it up by like the frame. But overall, he's not very creative, at least from what we saw. The movie apparently didn't reach its target demo because teens were said to have been sleeping through it. The movie is shackled to the past, like old 80s slashers, but is apparently not a very good homage. That's another con. Hellfest, the theme park in the movie, is very negligent. They left a real axe just in one of the the labyrinth. So the OSHA or whatever, someone needs to look into that. And the guillotine that we saw in the trailer, it doesn't even kill the person that's strapped into it. It just hurts their neck really bad.
Yeah, it gives them a paper cut in the back of the neck.
It's a guillotine paper cut, which is really sad. And then we'll go on now to our pros. It invented a new genre, frustration horror.
Yeah.
So, it just makes you angrier. It doesn't really scare you. I guess you're scared by how angry you are.
One person is on a computer and it
Yeah.
freezes up and
Yeah.
you can't figure out why something is happening. He's looking up all online trying to figure it out and just solutions don't work. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be scarier than an actual horror movie. As I said, it generates a lot of good ideas, but doesn't really use any. But the fact, that it is kind of a launching off point. If you're a creative writer or a screenwriter and you're trying to find ideas, just think about this movie for a long period of time and other ideas will come out of it. It has a good ending. We are unironically impressed with the ending of that the killer was just a regular guy all along. He wasn't your typical kind of psychopath. I wrote Hamer scene. It's spelled hammer.
Hamer.
Okay. Yeah, so
He hits him with a hammer.
sounds like a redneck name or something.
Name's Hammer.
Like Homer. But yeah, we found out in one of the random reviews that there's 3 exciting scenes, which may all be the same scene. There is the hammer scene, the bathroom scene, and the syringe scene. So if you watch the film, definitely look out for that. Or those, it depends. We're not sure how it played out. We learned that the killer is a super athletic everyman. That's why I gave him the name Lightning-Fast Everyman, which is interesting. If that's in the film, then he is actually kind of a creative killer. And we found out how Trace died, potentially, kind of with an asterisk. We don't know certain. He may have been hit with a bathroom into a pit of syringes and then crushed by a hammer. But we do think Lightning-Fast Everyman killed him, possibly under the wishes of Peter Rabbit.
Right.
In some capacity. And we think he just let him loose like a wild dog. And the final pro, I ran out of room, I put it over here. This replaces actually going to a horror theme park. You can just watch the first 15 minutes, get your scares, turn it off, and you're good to go. And you don't, and so you don't even know that there was any murders. So it's actually a really good time. It's a very lighthearted kind of vacation movie.
Yeah. Small romp.
Yeah. Oh yes, and official pro cons. The frustration horror, very acquired taste. Not all of us enjoy watching someone struggle with a computer for a long period of time. Maybe there is no taste to it. Maybe it's a horrible idea. So, with all that in mind, we have to review this movie.
Oh, it's a slasher film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But all the elements we just talked about, they have to factor into the review somehow, good or bad.
You know what? I think I would give it a 70.
A 70? That's
I
generous.
become a real fan of Lightning-Fast Everyman.
Yeah.
I really feel for him. I root for him. He's kind of won me over.
That is kind
And
of
I love
interesting.
how we started off with a knife, but a horror villain who hits people with bathrooms.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
He's also apparently pretty strong if he can hit you with a whole bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's super athletic, remember?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm saying maybe we get rid of that con. The killer and weapon are not creative.
Yeah, he ultimately is very creative.
Yeah, on the onset, you would think just from the trailer he's not, but when you get into it, they finally did it. They finally saved the good stuff for the movie and didn't give it away in the trailer.
Yeah.
Which, you know.
Yeah, you think he has a knife, and he just pulls up an entire bathroom and just crushes someone with it.
Or he hits you with a hammer into a bathroom, and then you fall into the trash can into some needles. We don't know how exactly he killed it, but he uses a combination of those things, apparently.
Right. Maybe he does it for all his kills.
Yeah.
He's got to be near the bathroom, or maybe he takes the bathroom with him.
Yeah.
That's one problem. He lacks stuff because he's always bringing a bathroom or near a bathroom.
Unless he's in the dark, then
and
he just zips over to
Yeah,
it.
and I'm always a fan of the everyman, you know?
Yeah.
His struggles of trying to murder teenagers and failing with the guillotine, you know? Not so much. I don't like it so much as it's a horror movie and stuff. If it didn't have Lightning-Fast Everyman, it'd be much lower. But he's that 70. That's on him right there.
Yeah, that is a good point. I'm kind of with you because I kind of like Lightning-Fast Everyman, but as a horror fan, to me this seems very kind of rote, and you know it borrows too much from the past while not utilizing it in an interesting or fresh way, or not using it properly. Man, I don't want to do a 50. It's such a milquetoast, such an easy way out.
Yeah.
There ain't no easy way out.
You know, I think I'm going to give it like a weird number here, like a 48. I'm going to go with a 48 because I think
it's divisible by 2.
Yeah, the horror movie overall is kind of just middle of the road. But, you know, I think Lightning-Fast Everyman is worth the price of the ticket.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the same vein. I like a 59. It
59?
speaks to me.
Yeah.
You know, I think I like the killer. I like the idea. I like frustration horror. I really think that'll take off. So, ultimately, I'm pretty happy with it.
I think you just remember repeating decimal.
No. I don't need to do that. It just happens naturally. That's the... we got a 59.
Oh.
So I was right.
Yeah.
I was validated.
Right.
No repeating decimal either.
Yeah, I think I should go in the MVPs.
No, I'm not signing up on that.
I guessed our score.
Well, I said, how about I put you in the episode Degenerates?
Yeah, you can go in the box of shame if you want. All right, so
Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes.
But Rotten Tomatoes gave it a much lower score.
Yeah. Where is? Give me Hellfest. I can't. The 12 bar is blocked with Escape Room, Escape, and Peter Rabbit. He knows. He's trying to block me from. Okay, there we go.
I keep putting in Hellfest.
That sounds like a hero name or something like that. I'm Hellfest.
This movie does. Did the government cover up the movie itself?
I think I got it.
Okay.
All right. So we have for critics 39% and audiences 42%.
Oh, okay, so the audience is an MVP.
Audience is 1.
Yep.
All right.
So you put the critics into the box of shade.
No, they don't go into the box of shit.
Yes. No.
I want to put all the critics in the box.
You just
of
want
shade.
to put some of the box of shade.
We haven't done it in this episode yet.
Well, no one was gross enough.
Yeah. We put you in the box of shade, but when you put people into the box of shade.
It's an ironic punishment.
There, we'll put Luke in.
No, it wasn't supposed to happen.
You become what you hate the most. All right, so I think that's it, isn't it?
It is. So I guess you can exit.
I guess I'll leave it. Thanks, Jake. I guess I'll leave it to you guys.
I don't know the links.
The opposite of our introduction.
Yeah.
The
Our
outro?
outro,
Yes,
yeah.
the outro.
I should remember it.
The outroduction.
That's been it for Much Review About Nothing. Thank you for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at muchreviewan@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at muchreviewan. I keep having to say like at and at again. I always hate that. It's always hard to say.
Yeah.
But we're at muchreviewan on Twitter, and you can follow me, Billy, at BD_gruesome. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean.
We always say we're never going to say that.
I'm doing it as a joke.
Yeah, I know. Patreon. We just
Patreon.
We got to get used to saying,
Yeah, we do.
Support us on Patreon. You can get your name read out.
Yeah, just go to Patreon and look for Much Review About Nothing. Hopefully you can find it.
I don't think you can. I couldn't find it.
Well, how are the people going to find us? Are we not in their search thing?
Go
yet?
to Podbean and click the link.
Okay,
And
yeah, find it from Podbean.
And it should be in our description.
Is it in the description on iTunes?
Yeah, it will be.
Okay, hope you can find it on iTunes as well then.
Yeah, you can find us on iTunes.
Yeah. God. Yes, and we need your support because the more the support we get, the more we can do this.
And we can prove
and,
to our dad that we are a waste of space.
And money that gets donated we'll put it towards ads to hopefully grow us, which we'll do soon.
At this point, the money's going to go back into the show.
We
would love to get where we could do this as a job. That would be amazing, but that's obviously far into the future, if ever at all. But just any support would be awesome, and we thank you in advance. What am I looking at here?
Our description.
Oh, okay, yeah, there it is. So it's in our iTunes description now.
And you can watch us on iTunes.
Yeah. And before we sign off, though, we want to give a shout out to our MVPs. We want to thank BoyBandCrazy for bringing back a little nostalgia of the days before, when you were young and before your parents would let you watch certain things, or you could apparently before you knew how to use the internet properly to find things. And we got to thank the audience for getting closer to our score and proving us, not proving us, but I don't know,
being validated against us.
Yeah, for their
validated against us.
Well,
validated
it's their validation.
Yeah, I guess I phrased that wrong. We, the audience, won the show. Their score has been validated by us.
And
so they get in the MVP, and Luke is in the box.
Redacted. And I think a special shout out to Jake, who guessed our score. Special shout out.
I'm not signing off on that at all, but and I guess that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening, and please give us money. Bye.
Bye.
This is Luke, we're exiting.
Yes, we are all exiting now.
Yes, exiting.